welcome to Kitchen Basics 101, where I teach you the bare bone basics as if you've never cooked a day in your life from the perspective of a mom. And here for a while, you know I've been on a little bit of a salmon kick, and so I'm at it again. So this is frozen salmon that I bought from Costco because that's what I like. It's packaged in individual packaging, which I love because I'm really the only person in this household who eats fish. And so I defrosted it in a separate container, and a lot of liquid comes off. So the first order of business before we do anything is to get as much of that liquid off of the fish as I can. So that's what I'm doing right now, is just drying it on some paper towels. You have to be a little bit delicate. Fish is, especially if it's been frozen first, will come apart fairly easily. So you have to try to be careful of that. And obviously you're getting fish guts all over. So you want to make sure you wash your hands a lot, and you wash your counter if you get it on your counter and stuff like that. So let me get them all dry and wash my hands, and then we'll get started. We've got our salmon dry. I'm going to use grapeseed oil because that's a high heat oil. Another high heat oil is avocado oil. If you don't like grapeseed oil, you can use olive oil here as well. There's nothing that says you cannot use olive oil here. It's just my preference to use more of a neutral flavored oil, especially if I'm doing Asian flavors, which I am today. So I'm gonna do like a honey garlic soy type of preparation today. I don't know what we should call it. Should I call it that? Honey garlic soy or honey garlic preparation today. So I'm just putting a little bit of that oil and I'm rubbing it in. I prefer to oil the meat than oil the pan. I just think it's less splattery. You end up using less oil. That's my preference, but you can totally put oil in the pan if that's your preference. Dirty hand, clean hand. With my clean hand, I'm going to do a little salt and a little pepper. I love pepper. I'm a big pepper fan. Then we're going to do some garlic powder. It's a little harder to get these open with my one hand, but I want to keep a dirty hand so that I can flip my fish over and I don't wash my hands 752 times while I'm making this. Okay, so we're going to put a little garlic powder and a little smoked paprika. If you don't have any of these seasonings, salt and pepper will do. I just gonna have to pause for a second. Hold on. Didn't want you to have to watch me cuss at my smoked paprika. If you don't have any of these seasonings, salt and pepper is fine. This is just a nice added flavor. If you love onion, you could do onion powder here. If you love that, I don't love that. So I'm just gonna do smoked paprika, salt, pepper, garlic powder. Okay, and then I'm gonna flip the fish over and I'm gonna do that exact same thing on the other side. My pan on medium-high heat. I'm using my nonstick pan today just because I don't feel like bothering with my stainless steel. Oh, my pan wasn't hot enough. I didn't get a nice sizzle. You want to get a nice sizzle. So let's get our pan a little hotter before we put the other piece in. All right, we got a little sizzle. Let's see. Yeah, that's better. I would like it to be a little hotter, but we can't have everything we want. All right, I'm going to do probably like 4 minutes on this side because I didn't get a great sizzle, and then we'll flip them over. The plate we were using, don't use it again because it had raw fish on it. So I'm going to go get a clean plate out. Okay, our time is up. It's time to flip our fish. This way, this way. Ooh, she's real brown and crispy. I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit because this one on the right got a little too much, but we definitely want a nice crispy crust. So it's totally okay, but I'm gonna turn the heat down just a smidge to, you know, medium. And then I'm gonna do, let's say 3 minutes on this side. 3 minutes on this side. I'm sure the fish is delicious and we could probably stop here, but we're not going to. We're gonna take it out to rest on a plate, and then we're gonna make our delicious sauce. I'm gonna put just a tiny smidge more oil just because I feel like I really have no oil in my pan. And then I'm going to use 3 cloves of garlic and 2 teaspoons of ginger. This is frozen. Oh, just gave it a little splatter because it was frozen. But that's all right. We're going to put that in our pan and just give it a little bit of a saute. My heat was way too high on my pan and that splattered everywhere. So we're just going to get it to chill out a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce. A couple of tablespoons of soy sauce here. show you whenever I deglaze my pan, I get to see how uneven my stovetop is because all the liquid always pools to the back. So then we're just gonna give that, just cook that up a little bit. I think I might need just a smidge more soy sauce. Hold on. All right, smidge more. Yeah, so maybe like a 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup. It doesn't matter. It's just more like how much sauce do you want? And I was like, oh, that doesn't look like enough sauce to me. Okay, so we've got our soy sauce, our garlic, our ginger. Gorgeous. Then if you don't have this in your pantry, you could do lemon juice, but I've got rice vinegar, so I'm gonna do a little rice vinegar, like maybe tablespoon or 2. Gorgeous, beautiful. And we're just gonna we just want this to kind of reduce. We want to scrape the bottom of the pan, get all the little crispy bits off from when we sauteed our fish. Okay, we've got garlic, we've got ginger, we've got soy sauce, we've got a little rice vinegar. That could also be mirin, which is slightly sweeter, or it could be lemon juice. Just want a little bit of acid. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. I'm gonna let that come up to a little bit of a bubble. I turned it way down when it started splattering all over me. So we'll be back in a second when it starts to simmer. All right, we've got a little bit of a simmer going, and now we're gonna add some honey. Couple tablespoons of honey. I'd say maybe 2 tablespoons, and then we're gonna give that a stir. And we want this to kind of reduce down a little bit before we put the salmon back in. At this stage, I'm gonna give it a little taste to adjust for seasoning. Okay, I think it needs a little more sweetness. It's still a tad too salty. So I'm gonna put a 1/3 tablespoon of honey in there. Okay, now that it's reduced down a little bit, I'm gonna put the salmon back in to the sauce. Both of our pieces. This could easily be 4 pieces if you wanted it to be. There's plenty of sauce here. We've got our pan drippings, so we're definitely gonna add those back in here as well. Then it's a little hard for me to show you because I can't tilt the pan and hold the phone at the same time, but we're gonna tilt the pan towards us so that we get a pool of our sauce. We're gonna baste the fish in the sauce for just a minute or 2 to incorporate all those flavors, warm our salmon back up since it's been sitting out of the pan for, 5 minutes. I'm getting ready to plate it up and I'm just like, cannot get over this gorgeous stunningness. I also roasted some broccoli and I made some rice. My light died again, but that's okay. Tell me that this is not just the most stunningly delicious thing you've ever seen in your life. I just love how versatile salmon is, like a million ways to make it. Let's just try the salmon completely on its own. I mean, obviously. Salty, savory, sweet, like you want it to be. I was trying to show you how perfectly it's cooked. Oh, there you go. It's perfectly cooked all the way through. You can have this whole thing on the table in under 30 minutes for sure. Honestly, the fish is the easiest part. The broccoli is going to take 20 minutes to roast. The rice is going to take 25-30 minutes to cook, but the salmon could be done in 15 or less, honestly. So I'm going to include this in our 30-minute meal series because you could definitely get this on the table in 30 minutes. Delicious, savory, simple. I love it. 10 out of 10. Recommend. The salmon kick continues.